Hi, this is Ken. We have to admit we face a different world today. Just when the terror attacks filled the news, so did the debate on what our refugee policies should be. One thing seems certain. There may not be any good solutions to the current crisis. I'm going to share an idea. Please keep an open mind. You don't have to agree with me, but please show tolerance about different opinions. We may not be able to do much, but for the few people who are willing to try, please do not discourage their efforts. It is hard for the U.S. and other countries to turn their heads away from the refugee crisis, but we just don't have the manpower to filter through the incoming refugee tsunami. I heard on the news just yesterday that there are only a handful of people on terror watch from the 20,000 Syrian refugees we accepted. But it only takes a handful to carry out a very wicked attack. Also on yesterday's news, I heard this argument. Why should the U.S. or NATO have to fight ISIS when the Syrian people should be doing the fighting? We all know what ground troops mean. To us, it means another black hole in our budget and more innocent U.S. lives lost in a confusing cause and endless troubles. But to the Middle East, it is another foreign invasion, which is at the root of some of their hatred and thusly attacks. So what should we do? We have to admit many of the refugees fled not only to save their lives, but to have better lives. And the crisis provided a great opportunity. The opportunity to have shelter, food, an education, a job, and a different future. It is an opportunity worth dying for. Can you deny the Western goodwill fueled the refugee crisis to some degree? Syria and Iraq need those scientists, educators, and politicians for the rebuilding afterwards. We have millions of refugees which have escaped. Is there any way to turn them to be the force we need? How about instead of a refugee visa, we provide a temporary visa? A visa that is only good until the situation stabilizes. During the crisis, we provide education that will enable them to build a democratic country with religious and political freedom. The news report said 90% of the refugees from Syria are against the Assad regime. If the conditions for a refugee visa approval is to be a victim of the government, then what do you expect? How about negotiating a deal with a country like Egypt, a country that speaks Arabic and needs foreign financial aid, a country that is an ally to us in fighting against ISIS? The West can pay for building of housing to house the refugees in the new host country, and at a cost a fraction of what it would be to house the refugees in Western countries, with a focus on education and reform. When Syria stabilizes, the refugees can go home, and the housing will be provided to the host country as a token of thanks. They can use that and the financial resources provided to boost their economy something the host country needs. For the refugees who fled to better lives, they can have safety and shelter, but they have to earn their better lives eventually in their home country. They won't be provided for better lives, but they will be given the opportunity to have better lives for themselves and their countrymen. Please share this video with your friends and family, and consider putting it on your Facebook and Instagram account if you like my suggestion.